China's social credit system. It's been all over the news lately, and by now most of you must have heard of it a dozen times over. But for those of you who haven't heard about it, in short, it's a citizen ranking system in which the base point is 1,000 and more points can be added if you do good, like say you've donated blood. On the other hand, points can also be deducted if you do something bad, for instance, smoking while driving. When I first came across this news, my initial reaction was very generic. It was sort of like, well, it's China, nothing I wouldn't expect. However, this is also around the time when I was thinking about posting on this channel again, so I was going through the process of checking the social media websites that are linked to this channel, Twitter and Facebook being the main ones. When I logged into Facebook, I landed on the homepage, that being my personal page. I hadn't been on Facebook for months until then. I mean, I only used to have it for messaging friends, and when I stopped using it even for that, then it just became a tool that helps me promote this channel. So on the homepage, I saw a bunch of posts from my friends and acquaintances. There were photos, articles, memes, replies, likes, emoji, and so on. Then it dawned on me. Didn't we invent social credit system long before the Chinese have? Let's face it, Facebook and Twitter became pretty much that. Sure, China's system's more direct and ours is more subtle. But isn't the mechanism fairly similar and the end result the same? In China, each town assigns a person called information collector. These people log all the reports of good and bad deeds. They wield a huge amount of power and influence, obviously. In the West, we have moderators both on Facebook and Twitter. These people manually go through flagged posts, and they make judgment on whether the speech of individuals are socially acceptable or not. In other words, they regulate our speech. Facebook and Twitter have not only become the main virtual space where people share news and ideas with others, but there are also thousands of businesses that rely on those two platforms due to the sheer number of traffic they generate each day. It seems like a day is too far before a business makes an apology about an ad they've placed or perhaps a product they were pushing. For people like me who lean politically on either center left or right, this is the most peculiar movement that's been trending in recent years, the moral outrage culture. So in some sense, the people who constantly monitor Facebook and Twitter, and I'm not talking about the official moderators of those platforms, but rather the average person who's just waiting for the next hit piece or a tweet that can rally the angry mob over. Well, those are the people whom I would call the information collectors of the West. We've seen people lose their jobs over a tweet they posted 10 years ago, as if none of us have ever said something dumb. I've personally have seen friends unfriend each other in real life after they've seen another friend like or retweet a tweet that they didn't agree with. They weren't like that back when we were in high school. You could speak to them about different topics, you can disagree with them, then at the end of the day, we were still friends. So what happened? Well, I think our own social credit system happened. In the West, we are clearly more indirect about the approach to things like this. For example, in China, it's no secret that the Communist Party has got a hand in the cookie jar of every major Chinese corporation. But what about us? Well, we've got Super PAC, which allows corporations, individuals, and unions to raise unlimited sums of money, then spend that unlimited sum of money to overtly advocate for or against political candidates. In my mind, that is just bribe, but you are free to disagree, of course. We also know that former politicians receive hundreds of thousands of dollars to make speeches in different venues, but corporate seminar type being the main source of income for them. Therefore, it's a given that money is pretty much freely tossed around between politicians and businesses. When Facebook and Twitter came along, it seemed like a fad at first, but then it became kind of fun to be part of those emerging communities where everything seemed to be free and you can access all things instantaneously. With time, we became more and more reliant on those platforms, to eventually most of us couldn't go an hour without them. Fact is, if you're not on either Twitter or Facebook, then you're likely on Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, Reddit, Tumblr, WeChat, Discord, or YouTube, of course. Now chew on this for a second. Facebook, Google, Twitter, and all host of other social media companies save everything there's to know about your online history on their database permanently. It doesn't matter that you've requested for those information to be deleted. They still have your shadow profile. So what is shadow profile? It's basically your information stored under different aliases. Social media companies can get away on technical grounds that they aren't storing your profile after the fact that they were requested to be deleted because your name isn't attached to the information which pertains to you. But then you may say, no problem, I've never opened a Facebook account in my life. Or perhaps you may say, I have a Facebook account, but I didn't include my real information to be safe. Well, that's too bad for you because unless you've gone completely dark, off the grid for the last 20 years, they still have your information. How? This is how. Person A registers on Facebook. Upon registration, Person A is asked to connect with friends by providing his or her phone number. Person A clicks OK, and now everyone on their contact list is in the database of Facebook. Facebook acquires more info from person B, C, D, E, and so on, to which inevitably some people in the contact lists are found on multiple devices. Assuming that my personal number was found on Person A's cell phone, Person A might post something about me on his Facebook page with my name Dennis. He might say that we went jogging together. Now Facebook knows that Dennis likes to jog. A week later, Person C posts about a birthday party he attended, and that birthday party happened to be mine. Now Facebook knows my birthday and that I'm friends with Person C. Little by little, they aggregate more information about me to eventually I'm a whole virtual person on Facebook's profile. This takes us back to the social credit system and how I think we've actually implemented it long before the Chinese have. You can delete all the social media accounts that you've signed up for, but as I've stated, you can never delete them permanently. It goes the same for the public. If you've got the time and patience, there's always Archive Today and the Wayback Machine to find deleted tweets and Facebook posts of your worst enemies. Everything you post online is forever. Well, for the most part. So the way I see it, the social credit system in China is more explicit. It's akin to a blunt instrument. Whereas our social credit system is more clandestine. It's akin to a slow-working poison. Regardless, both systems have us by the balls. If you've ever searched for something questionable, then the people with that information can make your life a living hell. In fact, you don't even have to have a sleazy online history. If you have in your possession people's online history going back several years, it isn't that hard to conjure up a personal bio that would make you look bad, real bad. In essence, we've voluntarily opened up ourselves to these giant corporations of everything there's to know about ourselves. And once again, it isn't news that politicians and businesses collude in many facets of governing a nation. It is a factual statement to say that we enjoy more personal freedom than the people of China. But again, the way things work in the West is always more subtle. Instead of the government policing our speech, in the West, we have the angry mob on Facebook and Twitter to do the same job for the government. If you post anything that isn't acceptable to the moral arbiters of the social media platforms, you're done. If you like the wrong post or tweet, you're done. You could be defending the positions of the moral arbiters, but use the wrong word, though in the right context, you're still done. For some, understandably, this issue may seem completely alien. But for most people, especially those in big cities and working for large corporations, who are literally forced to use one or multiple social media websites for communication, marketing, information, casual dealings with coworkers, and more, this is something that could have a lasting effect in their lives. Forget your political leanings for now. The corrupt institutions that wield the power to make or break you at whim, it does not discriminate. Imagine this, quantum computers might be used commercially in 10 to 20 years. Some researchers believe a true artificial general intelligence could only be realized with quantum computers. Data storage might also be revolutionized with glass disk technology because of how densely they can store data. Compare this. A Blu-ray disc can store 128 gigabytes of data on a single platter, whereas a glass storage disc of the same size can store up to 360 terabytes. Oh, and by the way, the data on glass discs are good up to nearly 14 billion years. When you combine those three critical technology advancements and the information that the big tech corporations have gathered on us, at some point in the future, life will look drastically different for all human beings. And I don't believe the changes will be for the better. While we were busy criticizing the Chinese social credit system, the same system was being implemented right under our noses, with that being far more sophisticated, much easier to implement, and a system that's horrifyingly permanent. People will continue living their lives with the illusion of freedom, while they negligently punch in their personal information on their phones, giving more authority to the shady businesses and the ever-growing governments. I'm afraid there will come a day when I wake up one morning, I will no longer be able to recognize the society I was once part of. And that's it for this video for now. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see me do more of these types of videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.